Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Robert Frost, an American poet, his works were initially published in England before being published in America. He is known for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command over American colloquial speech. The other notable works are A Boy's Will and The North of Boston. Now into the poetry. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it went in the undergrowth. Now the explanation. Once the poet was walking down a road, and then there were two diversions. There were two different paths. He had to choose one out of them. The poet says, as he was one person, he could travel only in one. He had to choose one out of the two roads. Yellow woods means forest with leaves which are withering. They have turned yellow, and it is noticed that it could be the season of autumn. It represents the world which is full of people, where the people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older to the poet. The poet had to choose a suitable road. The choice that he makes will decide his future. He had to think of the pros and cons that he would have to face in choosing the correct road. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted there, though as far that the passing there had warned them really about the same. The explanation now. The poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it was the right path for him or not. Then he decided to walk on another path because he felt both the paths were equally good. He says just as fast, so he felt that both the paths were equally good. So he started to walk. He chose the path which wanted there, which means that many people did not walk over it. In our life too, the same way we have options to make. Each option has its own benefits, disadvantages, problems and challenges we must face. But we always think that we have chosen the better path because it is not the only way. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how ways leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. The explanation. The poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them as they still looked very green. He had decided that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day, although he knew that one way leads to the other way, and he knows that he would not be able to come back and make another choice. Similarly, even in our lives, we choose an option. We must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we will never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we have left earlier. Now the last stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled, and that has made all the difference. He says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he had travelled on the road which had been travelled by lesser number of people. That decision of him decided his future. Similarly, in the future, when you grow up, then you would say that once upon a time, when you were young, you had two options, the choice that you made and the choice that has made what you become today. This is a very strong message for all the students that you should be wise and careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. Thank you.